And I cried myself to sleep that night. Jason really remembers that and has brought this up a lot of times, that I cried myself to sleep that night. And it was a good lesson.
This is Good One. I'm Jesse David Fox, senior writer, Vulture, and author of Comedy Book. My guest this week is D'Arcy Carden, one of America's most likable people. We talk about improv, her new role on Peacock's 5-Star Weekend, and all that went into playing Janet on The Good Place, one of the greatest comedic actor showcases of the 21st century. So, here is D'Arcy Carden. I'm here with D'Arcy Carden. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me. What a pleasure.
I know. So the first question we ask, what is the funniest, strangest, or most fascinating thing that happened to you this week?
Okay. This week. Okay. There's it should be like a funny light story, but the only thing I can think of is that I was at the airport when someone got got smushed up by a plane.
Mm-hmm.
Got sucked into a plane and turned into smoothie. Like the kind of the way you would sort of think in a cartoon somebody would get
The Incredibles.
Yes.
Specifically the cape scene.
Yes,
and it
exactly.
Goes, but then show what happens on the other
and
end.
even maybe a moment in Lost. I feel like in a flashback of Lost, there's remember
I
when
wonder if that happened in literally the first 5 minutes.
I think it
of
did.
Lost.
Everybody's standing on the beach screaming, and then everyone's kind of back up. Yes. Okay, so I won't tell that. And then the only other thing I can think of is my sisters and my mom and I. My sisters and I were visiting. Whatever. I'm making this too hard. I was crossing the street with my family, my literal family, and my dad didn't see it was a red light, and he went out into traffic, and we were all like, "Dad!"
Oh.
All 4 of us just "Dad!" So everything I can think of is not funny.
Was he okay?
Well, that's the bad news. No. I'm just kidding. He got sucked into the mechanism. Can you imagine?
And then a plane came in.
Yeah. No, he's doing great.
Yeah, so that's great.
He
story.
beat the system, actually.
I think the only definition of comedy is that, I guess someone has to get married at the end of that.
That's right.
And then someone had a wedding.
Yeah.
And you're like, boom.
The car went beep, beep, and then he went out and he's like, marry me. My dad's like, I do. And we were like, okay. So that was pretty funny.
And scene.
Good.
We did it. Before we get into your career, I was thinking about you. And you're do you feel like you're sort of a genre of Nepo baby?
Interesting question. I totally do. Oh my God, that's such a good question that I've never been asked before.
You're like the Lena Dunham or Kate Berlant genre of Nepo baby.
Yes. And it's so funny because no one's ever said that before, but my siblings and I say that. My little sister has a picture of my dad and Tupac together in her bathroom. And I'm always like, we're Nepo babies.
Exactly. So to explain, there are the Nepo babies, which is Gracie Abrams, right?
Yeah.
Prototypical type. But it's the Lena Dunham style of your parents are in the arts and encourage you.
Right. Totally. Yeah. My parents were in the music business. No direct exact link to comedy or thinking back, whatever, comedy or acting. Not exactly.
Yeah.
Right? It's did they meet Robin Williams? Sure.
Yeah,
did they
sure
say
they did.
hey, we got a daughter that really wants to be on stage? No. So yeah, no direct, but a little bit of that thing where so just to be clear, my dad and my mom had a music magazine called BAM magazine in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, especially in California. Which made my childhood really exciting and full of music and full of concerts and backstage and stuff like that. So Nepo ass, you know what I mean? But to be clear, when I moved to New York, and I'm saying this with so much love to my dear dad, when I moved to New York and they were like, you should be on SNL. My dad was like, here's a fax number that I got from one of our stand-up friends in San Francisco. Write Lauren a letter about why you would be good. And I didn't do it. I wrote the letter, but I did not send it. But you know what I mean? So it's not actually.
What did you write in the letter?
Great question. And by the way, for sure still have it.
You probably get it to him now.
Oh my God.
It's you have Seth Meyers over for dinner. It's Seth, actually, we have business to take care of.
Totally. We should do that. That's so funny. I think it said I remember actually specifically my dad really loving this thing that I'm sure every comedy person, basically when you realize you understand the rhythm of comedy or like the
Mhm.
math of comedy,
Yeah.
the sort of like behind the whatever. It's like and I remember talking to my dad about that, and he was really into it. He was like, you get it. And so he was just sort of like, explain that to Lauren. Tell him you get it, man.
It's like, Lauren, have you heard of heightening?
Yes, exactly. Me, I have,
You
and I
teach
get
him
it.
game?
Yes, I noticed this thing with threes. Yes, so I do remember like sitting at a temp job as the secretary and being like, I know this isn't going to work, but also like I'm here in New York and I gotta do something. Like
Yeah.
it's not, and writing out a letter. And I have a I mean, not even pause, but I keep a date book,
Mm-hmm.
like a freaking deaking date book with dates in it, and also tons of notes and letters and things like that. So there's probably a date book in a box with my like SNL Lorne letter fax that never got faxed.
Yeah, I mean, imagine at minimum, it's like you didn't have I didn't know anyone who ever was famous.
Right.
Like part of you goes like, some people become famous and they live in San Francisco.
I think that's the Nepo of it all.
Yeah.
Is seeing it.
Yeah.
Maybe not seeing anybody like rise, but being like, I listened to that person on the radio and they're at my dad's office or whatever. So because I think of, like maybe whatever, a kid that grows up in like the Midwest or whatever, and no movies shoot in their town. And there's just like it feels so far away.
Yeah, where literally if one movie shot in their town, they're like, oh, I could be in movies. They shoot in my town.
Yeah, I do. I think that really does do it for people.
Hollywood should shoot one movie in every town.
Yes, it's not. They will now, unfortunately, because of the taxes. A slow sip, but that's just so funny. It's so funny because when all the Nepo baby talk happened, I was also sort of like, and me,
I'm the real one,
right?
So recently you've been sort of like doing more. You do comedy and then you're doing a little bit more drama. But I first want to kind of talk about the reverse thing that happened, which you were starting to do drama and then went into comedy. Yeah. So you went to a college and did like serious acting. Right. So my question is, are Shakespeare's plays good?
Great question. And I think the answer is yes.
Okay, cool.
And I know it might be hard to convince you or some people. Are you into it at all?
I'm sort of. Let's call me neutral.
Neutral. Okay, great.
I'm a neutral party on this.
I feel like, I went to a school in Ashland, Oregon, where like this town is sort of Shakespearean. Mm-hmm. And I know that it sounds lame because it is lame, but it's also like amazing. They have this big Shakespeare festival there. And it's just sort of like a town stuck in a different era. And, to be like an acting student in that town is really amazing. I got to see a million Shakespeare plays, and I would get to see them over and over again and study it. And I think I think the plays are good. Probably some are better than others.
Sure, of course.
He's not a machine. He's just one man, or is he?
Oh, yeah.
And, but, like, I think there is a fan of Shakespeare plays that is like so annoying. You're sitting in a Shakespeare play and you're kind of like trying to follow it, and then the people, they like laugh a little too loud, or they like take a deep breath a little too loud, where they really want to let you know that they understand it, and that can turn a person off. So you have to really like focus on the play or read the play.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Shakespeare. I want to do Shakespeare in the Park. How about that?
Yeah, I can see that. What do you want to do? So this is actually the first time I've heard someone who likes Shakespeare say this. So part of it is everyone's going, okay, what's going on?
Yes, totally. I mean, unless you're unless you have studied it.
Yes.
Right? Because it's almost a different language.
Yeah.
So you do have to like, if you have that moment where you're like, shit, I don't understand what's going on. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You'll probably get there. Hopefully the production's good enough that like, it'll give you some clues other than just the words. But it's also like, it is almost like another language where like when it first hits your ears, you're like, there's no way I'm going to understand this. And then as you just like let it wash over you, you do start like picking things up that maybe you wouldn't have.
I think it's also like, you've sold me on it in so much as I do think it's like we do need as a culture more things that we go to where we are bored
I
for
think so
parts
too.
of
Yes, totally. Where we kind of have to really turn our brains on.
We're like, okay, this is not fun.
I am
but
not
I'm
following
engaged.
this. Yes.
But it'll be rewarding when I'm
Totally.
like, oh, that's his daughter.
Totally. Like, and I think, going to like an opera or something, something where you're not like comfort food, which is also has a place
Sure, of
and we
course.
love, but it is, like turning your brain on in a different way and trying to like follow something. Oh, it's good for us and probably never been better than today. Today.
Right now.
Yeah. Hey. Van Halen. Sorry.
Okay. Hey.
Okay.
So the first time I saw you ever was at the UCB Theater in New York.
Okay.
And even when I saw you then, I think you were even on Herald TV.
Okay.
So this was whenever that was.
Yeah.
And it's like you, at this point, I had seen various hair. It seems like you are persons like this person's a UCB person. They belong here in my brain.
Yeah.
What was it like for you? Like, what was it? Do you remember
When you were
starting
there?
and being like, no, remember when I
You remember when I was in the audience
when I went to
watching
see
it?
Andrew Law's Herald team?
Shout out Andrew Law.
Yeah. But was it like for you when you're like, okay, I'm a Shakespeare person, I'm an actor person, oh, I see this, and now I'm it? Were you like,
yes,
a fish being put into water for the first time, which
Great.
is not a
No,
metaphor?
It is like it was like a fish being put into water because it was like I'd been an actor my whole life. I'd been in plays my whole life. I loved the classics, the Shakespeares, the dramas, the comedies. I loved theater, and was always sort of being cast as the funny role in a show, but really not getting it. I think I even was voted class clown in high school.
Oh.
Like I
Well, that answered that. I did have
Okay.
Well,
Okay,
finish
great,
your story and then
please.
I'll ask the class
but
clown.
it's like knowing that you I always have it's so funny. Like I always struggle to say like to say I'm funny. It feels like you're saying you're pretty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
no, totally.
Right? So let's say like comedic or whatever. I had a comedic bent, but bent?
Bent.
I don't think I've ever used bent before in that way, but
Bent.
I've heard it.
Bent.
Yeah. A comedic bent. Ooh, feels awful. I
think
hate
it's
it.
bent.
Okay. Sound off in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, but so like getting cast as the funny role in the play, but and loving stand-up comedy, but knowing I didn't want to do stand-up comedy.
Did you never try it once?
I never tried it once. And yeah, never tried it once. Don't have a huge desire to be on stage by myself, which we can talk about. But then when I saw my first UCB show, it was an ASCAT. It was like Polar, Seth Meyers, Manzukis, Jack McBrayer, and really truly like Dreamweaver moment in Wayne's World or something like that. Like just so like star. I mean, it was like God punched me in the face, and it was like me need to be here.
Yeah.
And signed up for class the next day.
And you were right. Your instinct was
and
correct.
My instinct was right. And in fact, like, even my first this kind of, this is, we're talking improv now. We're talking like improv classes. Like my first class, my first level 1 class, I was like, I'm good at this. I get it. And then, like level 2, they kind of like open your mind a little bit. And I'm like, I'm terrible at this. Like just this sort of ups and downs of like learning a new skill or learning something that probably like the same with if you were a singer, whatever it is, where you're just like, I know this is in me, but then the more you learn, the harder it is. But obviously, like having such a strong desire to stick with it and be, up there. It's not even like be the best. I was, not be one of the greats. It's like be up there with those people. I want those people. I need those people. And I don't even mean specifically Polar, Seth, whatever, even though yes. But like this brain that's up there is I need to be with them. It was such a strong pull.
So my producer, Anne, I believe she's already told you the story, but I think it's illustrative of what you're saying. So, Anne, correct me if I'm wrong. So she, as a new improviser, went to a jam, which is sort of like you can just go and anyone can perform.
Right, all levels.
And she was standing in the back wall, which is, it's literally the back wall, but it's in like also metaphorical back wall where you're not in the scene.
Right.
And you kind of stand on the back wall and you're like, what if no one notices that?
You're like, I'm on stage, but I'm not.
And she was scared to go on. And seemingly on her version of the story, you noticed or instinctually noticed, grabbed her hand, and you entered the scene with her.
I'm like, aw. I did.
You were the nice person.
I'm like, I'm so nice, whatever.
But I think that captures seemingly like the spirit that you're talking about.
Yeah. I think that does. Thanks for telling that story, and that's so cute. But like, I don't even think it's like, whatever. It's not like I'm so nice. It's like, I love team sports. I love it.
Okay.
I love to plan a team. And I really believe so strongly that like, I mean, it's so dorky to talk about improv, and I get that, and I like recognize it, but I also love it, and I think it's magic, and I think it's like, such a like human art form, and there is something about like you need each other. I mean, sure, you can do like a improvised solo show, and those are also amazing, but there's something about working with a team and like building each other up, and also making each other, like setting each other up to be almost like the better one. Like, I'm going to give you I'm lobbing it to you so that you get the laugh. And that brings me like so much joy. And that is the whole point.
Yeah.
And not to be like, and I know you'll do it for me too, but I know you'll do it for me too. Like, patience. Oh God, I love it so much. I love it so much. And I don't care when people don't like it. It's easy to make fun of. And bad improv is the worst.
Yeah.
But also it's sweet.
Yeah.
But I know there are like tropes and types of people that do improv that you want to roll your eyes at, which I get. Bad improv is ugh.
We do not have to defend improv.
I just love it. I think it's magic. I think it's beautiful.
I feel like you were at UCB, especially in New York, at like the last really good time to be there.
Me agree.
I feel like literally the generation like right after you it just felt a little bit off. There was fewer opportunities, both fewer opportunities to get and more people there.
Right.
And it felt like you were in this sweet spot. Do you have a story that captures like that moment?
I mean, yeah, maybe. I do think, there was, being a UCB student when I was one, it was not a path to stardom or work even. It was like, oh, Rob Hubel was in a commercial. That's cool. He's on stage. And I know I just said Polar and Seth and stuff, but they weren't like students there. They were like coming in from SNL to do the star show. So it was not like what it became, obviously. It was like, what I remember is, I'm going to tell a little Aubrey Plaza story. We were in class together, and she was on a Herald team, and I wasn't yet, but she was like, there's so much self-doubt. She was like, they're going to kick me off. Like, this is, there was a lot of like, I'm not getting it or whatever. She was great. She was such a good improviser, but there's just so much self-doubt, and it's such a like, struggle there. And I remember we like walked around Hell's Kitchen smoking cloves. Why? I had cloves in my purse.
It was a different time.
And then, like within a month, she was going to LA to do
funny people.
Yeah, I was about to say other people. Yeah, funny people. So anyway, just is that like the era you're talking about, where it's like it wasn't like my agent told me to take class here. There was none of that. It was nothing. It was like this little dinky like
before she got funny people, when you were talking to her, she wasn't like, oh no, when will I get cast in a Judd Apatow movie? She was just sort of like,
I'm going to get cut from my like little rinky-dink like Herald team.
Yeah.
Yeah, that performs on Tuesday nights.
And that mattered for the sort of sake of it.
Yes, like that was what we were obsessed with. And maybe to like our detriment is like we were in New York, and there weren't a ton of things shooting out here. So it wasn't this like path to TV or path to movies. It was like a path to maybe performing on the weekends.
Yes.
Or like for me, it was my most huge.
I think hugest probably is a word you just people don't. Your
my
biggest?
largest, my greatest goal.
Yes.
Wink, was to be on the touring company, because that meant you get to travel, you get to travel in the country.
Sure.
Going to like colleges. Is that a college?
Yeah.
And
we believe so.
Yeah, we hope so. Oh God, I hope it's a good one. And getting paid, and I mean barely, like getting paid like in kisses. And also not to get too into like gender, but there were hardly any women that did it. I can think of like Katie Dippold and Lennon Parham. They were both like on the touring company. And so there was a little bit of like, I had blinders on for things like that. It wasn't like get an agent, get a TV show. It was like, can you possibly get onto a weekend team? What if you got onto the touring company? And yeah, I got on both. And it took a minute, but I got there.
Yeah, and you were there.
Yeah.
So I laughed at the class clown thing because I did write, like, because I only know you after you took improv classes.
Yeah.
In my head, it's like you are a yes, Andy type person now.
Right.
But were you like that before?
Yeah, I think I was. I think yes, and is like really felt natural.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not a huge fan of like mean humor. And even like dabbled in it a couple times in high school and really got the laugh, you know, making fun of someone or whatever. You know, I can think of like I can just think of making fun of like a hot dumb girl and everybody laughing, not making fun, not like bullying.
Yeah.
My God, just like sort of like commenting on a thing she said or whatever, and the class laughed and being like, that didn't feel good. I don't like that. That doesn't feel right, you know?
Yeah, the thing that the follow-up is, you know, I'm preparing for this. You're on all these podcasts and you're talking to these famous people and they love you so much. And I was thinking of so I saw you perform, and then like the second time I think I saw you, or third, was I was at Jitlada and you were at dinner with one of the Haim. But this was before you were on The Good Place.
Did we talk that night?
No, we did. We didn't know each other.
Right.
I was just sort of at Jitlada.
Right. And you're like, there's SD Haim.
Yeah. And I was like, and I knew you from UCB. I was like, I wonder how.
Yeah.
And the question I have is it hard to have, it seems like a lot of people would like to be your friend.
That's so sweet.
Is that hard to then balance? Because I think it's an amount of people would like to be my friend. But I feel like I have a manageable amount. But you sort of give a sort of yes, Andy's like, oh, that'd be a great person to hang out with.
Interesting. This is so interesting. Like, this is so cute and interesting and also not uncomfortable, but I'm like, it's a hard thing to navigate because what if I was just like, yeah, a lot of people want to be my friend.
It's less a question about, I'm saying as a fact, it seems like a lot of least famous people. I don't know what other unfamous, I'm sure there's plenty of also
Normos.
Yeah, normos.
Uggos.
Yeah. Well, I just,
sorry.
you decide what they look like. But it seems like, you know, you're on a show with Ted Danson. Ted Danson's like, you got to come over for dinner. Right. I feel like when you meet these people, they're like, you got to come over for dinner. I'm not getting those invitations.
Okay. Maybe you are. Maybe they're slipping through the cracks.
I don't know.
I think maybe this is where the Nepo comes into it more than anything else, which is that I'm not thrown by famous people. I'm wary of them. I'm scared of them. They have to like be nice people or I don't want anything to do with them. But the like meeting, which can be really, you know, being starstruck or fumbling or whatever, or just also like, what is it, like sycophant, like kind of overly complimentary, whatever, like all that stuff. I think because of my mom and dad being in the music industry and being very specifically like, we don't do that. We don't ask for pictures. We don't ask for autographs. They're normal. Like that was a huge part of my childhood. Isn't that funny? If what you say is true, then perhaps it is that I'm not giving them the energy that like other people would, and that might be appealing.
I imagine famous people don't meet. I'm trying to think of like every person they meet is in relationship to their fame. And for one reason or another, they meet you and it doesn't feel that way. They don't go, this is the best person I've met in the last year. Maybe they say that.
Maybe they do. We don't know.
Well, it seems like they might. But it does seem probably like, oh, the ease that you give off generally isn't easier around a, you know, Conan O'Brien or whatever. Right. And it's like, oh, I want to be around more people who are at ease.
Right. Yeah. I mean, fame is a weird thing. It is weird in every direction. And it almost feels like the less it's a thing, the better for personal. Yeah.
No one, I mean, there's not tons of people in the arts part of fame who would like to be defined by their.
Yeah. Fame. Yeah. And if they do, like, well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you did UCB and then you get cast on the television show The Good Place. And I was curious, before you got on The Good Place, you were not in many things.
Really not in many things.
Like really, it's like actually kind of amazing that it's the type of thing you almost like don't see happen.
You sure don't.
And what did you, let's say 3 months before the audition for The Good Place,
What was I doing?
what did you think if you were then be like 5-year goal, what did you think your career was
Great
like?
question. By the way, you're really good at this. Yeah.
I'll stop.
It's like, okay, so when you say not in many things, I was in like a couple episodes of Broad City. I was in one sketch on Amy Schumer's sketch show.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was on any other TV things. And I was, again, like, let's say I'm saying successful because that means it's like, that means nothing to most people. Successful at UCB, which is a place where you didn't get paid. And it was like hard to explain to anybody. But I was like fulfilled and things were going well. And all my friends were like popping off. It was like this person getting SNL or this person getting a TV show or a writing job or whatever. So I was seeing it happen, but it like kept happening. And then it wasn't happening to me. And it was really not happening to me. And I really felt it where it was a big feeling of like missing an opportunity. Not even maybe an opportunity, maybe the facts to Lauren or whatever. But like, missing, like it has passed me by.
The off-ramp. This is this moment in which we as a group are making it.
Yes.
I did not.
Exactly.
That was actually like a cutoff point.
Totally.
And then who knows if it ever comes back around.
And even like, it was almost, I think I had convinced myself, not even who knows, it is impossible for it to come back around. So now what? So if I miss the off-ramp, now what?
Yeah, exactly.
So then it was like, not to say I was like fine. I definitely was like struggling, especially when I moved to LA. There was like a struggle, like there was something about being in New York and New York so alive and doing so much comedy and doing so much theater that I felt really fulfilled and really like busy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then in LA, it's a little slower and people are more successful and it felt like very far. And I was babysitting and like coaching improv and just sort of seeing dreams pass me by and then getting to a point where I was okay with it, where I realized like I love being on stage. I love doing plays. I love doing improv so much. It is so deeply fulfilling to me that I'll figure out, like my husband can make money. You know what I mean? I'll figure out how we're going to pay rent, but I'm like actually artistically okay. That was a huge revelation for me. And this is so annoying to say, but then The Good Place came like a couple months later. Yeah.
You didn't have, like, it was like, let's say 9 months later, there might have been a time where like, should I go to school for something else?
Right. And so that like, I never got there. I never got to like what, I really was like, I'm going to do. I also, growing up in the Bay Area, there's like a thriving community theater scene. Like I was like, I've done plays with people in their 70s. I'm like, I can do theater forever and get paid very little, but we'll be okay. Being, like the money thing wasn't too much of a, it was like, this will be stressful. It's stressful every month to pay our rent, but we're fine. We're happy. So it was just sort of like a big, there was just like a big, is it Oprah Winfrey herself who said aha moment? I did have a big aha moment where I was like, life is not going to look like what you dreamed it would, but it's actually really okay.
Yeah, like it seemed like you were like, okay, well, I won't be a star. That's not the path. But like, well, I wanted to have a fulfilling creative life, and I have that. Let's see what that looks like for a while, and then I'll figure out like what the money version of that. And I do feel like it is very San Francisco, where it's like a person like will somehow have a full-time job being a creative person that pays them no money that somehow also
totally, yes.
And it seemed like you were, but I'll still do auditions because whatever, I'm here. And then one was The Good Place, and then you get it.
Yeah, I know. I think I made the decision to like stop going on commercial auditions. I think that was like kind of draining me.
Yeah.
Where I was just sort of like, this doesn't feel right. Like, love a commercial, but the audition process was like so like cattle, and I just was like, well, this isn't why I'm doing this, you know? So it really, the timing was, was like, it's too good to be true.
Yeah, it is. There is a desire for people to be like, that's why. People love it.
I know.
And I will say, I do not like
right, when people go, and that the thing of like, and then, I don't know, like or stop looking and it'll be in front of you.
Classic, you'll find your one when you stop looking or whatever.
Okay, now, I agree, but also, do you think there's anything to like, whether it's relationship or career, if there's anything to the attractiveness of not being desperate.
Well, I think the hard part is, right, it's like you just needed to get to, if to get Kathryn apart like Janet, it's like, let's say 15 steps.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you were getting. I don't know how far, but like it did seem like you need to get one step further.
Yeah.
And it's possible that energy gets you kind of like, oh, the casting director has seen you 9 million times.
Right.
You're like, oh, there's something different now. I'll put it through.
Yeah, that's
And then
true.
when that happens, then they see that you're so
Right.
funny and charming and
Right.
great. Right? It's like,
Interesting.
because Hollywood is filled with funny, charming,
Right.
great people, but
Right.
they don't know how to see that. And then maybe it's like you got to the person and then, but it's, I don't know. It could have been, it's so hard not to be like, it's so random. And people make that decision. I think what I think is that decision you made before it paid off was valuable if it didn't work out.
Yes, I think so too.
And I think what happens is people only like to then do that, talk about that as a way of it working out, which is the classic, like, oh, then I'm like, okay, well, I'm not looking for someone looking for someone.
Yet. I know, you're right. And it's also the thing of like, it's annoying to be a struggling actor or anything and hear someone say this. It's a thing where someone's like, money's actually not that important when they're like a bazillionaire. You're like, you don't know. So I get that there's like an annoying thing about it. But yeah, also thinking back on Allison Jones, who's like this brilliant casting director who's, done all your favorite comedies. She had seen me so many times. I feel like she saw me. No. It couldn't have been The Office. It was something so long ago. Like she always has told me since, like she always kind of had me in the back of her mind. So who knows? Yeah. Who knows if I brought something different or it was just like finally the thing that worked. Yeah. Also, like, isn't it funny that I was on a couple episodes of TV and when I went in for my final audition, one of my few episodes of Broad City had played the night before and Mike Schur and Drew Goddard had watched it. Like it wasn't like they'd watched me on years of a sitcom or whatever. They saw like the one episode. Yeah. I don't know. Timing is, and that's luck.
Yeah. It's fully.
Hey, and that's luck, baby.
And that's luck, baby.
And that's Hollywood, baby. It is. It's luck and timing and frickin', I don't know, being nice.
Yeah. I do think it's like, that's ultimately like it is both, but I'm reticent to put out there narratives of like there are any ways in which these things work out because I do not. Because I think people kill. I shouldn't use that language.
Killed. They murdered.
People really beat themselves up about the sort of making it part of that pursuit. Yeah. And they're like, okay, I need to want it, but not want it too hard. And actually, if I grind this way, but I shouldn't try to.
I know.
It is random, and like the pursuit of the arts is a valuable thing to do, and I try to.
I am with you. I'm with you. And yeah, like, God, it's such a thin line to walk. It's like, yeah, the not trying too hard, but you have to. It is a grind. It's impossible. Yeah. That's what it is. Is it impossible? Yeah. And when it works out, it's like impossible. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I also wanted to underline how impossible is it's like not only was you get a thing. It's like, it'd be like, oh, this story would be the same if you were like on 7 episodes of The Good Place. Yeah. Like it still would have been a big break if you're on 7. Totally. If they saw you and go, actually, we're going to go somewhere else with Janet, but like we want you to be someone in the neighborhood. It actually would be a huge break for you. Yeah. It is crazy that it was like, and actually you're going to be like one of the main comedic driving engines of this show.
For 4 seasons.
That is like, that they were like, we didn't know who you were. Then once we knew you they essentially were like, you were the host of SNL every week. Is what that show, like rewatching the show, it is truly like what that show is like.
Did you rewatch it?
I was watching it. Cool. Yeah. I didn't watch every episode, but I watched a lot. And I was like, it truly was like, the writer's like, cool. Like, what can we, it's like a fully different, you imagine they're like, okay, let's just do Janet ideas for today. And they're like, and it feels so that feeling of SNL where like the writers are writing for a talent in a way that you don't see it very often.
It's like, I really felt, I don't know. I felt like so much love from the writers on that was like a really good relationship. Me and the writers and me. It was like a lot of them were friends from UCB era, and some were new. They're like the funniest, smartest people I've ever met, and it felt like we were like on a path together to like the same goal. And I will say, like, desperately wanting to make something of myself from a young age and not getting it until a not young age. Like I would have, like at 21, I would have killed for Janet. But I am so glad I did not get Janet at 21 because I felt ready as hell when she came my way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, which is not to say I wasn't nervous or didn't have like self-doubt. I struggle with all that stuff. But like, I really felt like I had like an arsenal or whatever. I was ready to rock.
Yeah, because they were like, we're going to give you a different thing every episode and you have to do that.
Yeah, I was kind of like, yeah, that's what I've been doing for the last like 12 years.
Exactly, yeah. So the sense you did not audition to play Janet because then, the nature of Hollywood and they don't want to spoil things. So it's like you're auditioned for a thing, then you're told what this thing is, which is like an indescribable mastermind, supermind, not robot.
Yeah.
Post-time consciousness.
Right. You got it.
And so talk to me about learning exactly what it is.
Okay.
I assume being like, what is that?
Right.
Who is it?
Yes.
And then full to like, when did you figure it out?
Okay. You're so good at this. Okay, so the audition sides, meaning like what you get to audition, had nothing to do with heaven, hell, good place, whatever. It didn't have anything to do with any sort of robotic anything. I was playing an hotline operator.
Yeah, a helpful
person who you would call me because something was wrong with the doll. A doll hotline operator. Like the button fell out of the eye or whatever. Actually, I should like give you the sides because it was super funny.
There's a small clip of it online.
Great.
And you're just like, how is this
right?
It?
And so then it was like, I was kind of like, what this? Okay. So then I was like, she's, kind of picking through the lines and I'm like, she seems like nothing, unflappable, right? This woman seems like anything these people are throwing at her, she's not dumb. She's not like an airhead. She's like super problem solving and positive. Nothing is throwing her. So then I don't know. It just was like, sometimes auditions are so weird because sometimes you're really forcing yourself to like play a part and sometimes it feels really natural. And this one felt really natural. It felt like I knew what they wanted, which is hilarious because then when I found out, I was like, oh, I had no idea. But
so then you find out.
So then I find out this is like, I got cast and then within like the next week, it's like the 6 of us cast members and Mike Schur and Drew Goddard and Morgan Saget, the producers, in Mike's office and where he like lays it out for us. But what you may know, wasn't it Vulture that like leaked, that not leaked, but like I feel like Vulture is
which part? The twist?
The twist. So meaning not leaked, meaning sorry, let me back up. I'm really good at this. He took us through like the first couple episodes and didn't tell us what the
Yes, because there's a famous clip of you reacting to the twist.
Right. And I think that was on Vulture.
We definitely posted it. I mean, it's burned in my brain.
Yeah.
I just remember your reaction. It was like you seemed so scared.
I was
he was telling you this thing, and you're like nervous.
Totally. But also, we didn't know what the hell was going on.
It is a weird meeting.
It was great. It's like it was Will and Manny and Jamila and myself and we thought maybe like Manny has said since that he thought we were getting fired. There was like a feeling of maybe we're about to get like we thought
a big twist that like changes so drastic. Like you're an imagination in her mind, so as a result, you're your last
done.
scene.
Exactly. And so so getting the twist was really exciting and actually made me like I was loving the show so much, but there were a couple of little things where I was like, oh, I guess it's just TV. Like it's not, I'm like, that doesn't really make sense, but it's a sitcom.
I will say, I rewatched the first season and I was like, oh, that aspect of myself ruined the first season.
Totally.
Because I was like, well, that doesn't make sense.
Well,
literally every week I was like, so like, what's that?
Why did you say this? And then once the twist happens, it's like warm goo where you're like, it all makes sense. It's brilliant. I love it. So then it was like, I already knew I loved it, but I had just the teeniest, tiniest little like, and then when he told us the twist, I was like, I will follow you to the ends of the earth. I was just like, beam me to your fucking like, spaceship. I'm in.
Do you feel like you got a sense of when, I'll say like when rewatching it, it felt like once you got to play bad Janet, it then clarified who Janet was.
I think so. That's great. I love that. I think you're totally right.
All right, cool.
And also like, the beginning, I remember like in the pilot, kind of figuring it out with Mike Schur, like I really had to pull back, like reacting and having an opinion, meaning as Janet. Like, so the fear of doing too little. Like I really had to be okay with doing less.
Yeah, especially because then you got to trust the writers. I mean, it ends to be such a huge, it's like a sketch character periodically. So, but like your default had to be neutral.
Neutral until Janet.
Yeah.
Anyway, what a joy.
So I want to talk briefly about the Janice episode. And I know most people bring it up to you all the time, but I feel like they will bring it up to you for the rest of your life, partly because it is so rare in comedy ever for a comedian actor to get a showcase.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there's not that many comedy star movies where they're like in the 90s, most stars got some. Yeah. But by that point, it's like Eddie had them, and it's like obviously Jim Carrey, Adam Sandler, and then like, what's his face? Pauly Shore got a couple, but like for the most part, people are not showcased generally. They get to be a part in the thing. And as I said, it's like this was truly like if every episode was kind of like you're the host of SNL. This was truly like we changed what SNL is, and it's now your show. It's like essentially they built a sketch show for you.
That's so funny. That's so funny. God.
How do you process? Hey, just this is we're completely breaking the rules of how sitcoms work. It's all you.
Yeah.
It's also, I imagine the script is an extremely daunting thing to read because you're like, so I'm this person, this person, this person.
You have to keep like reminding yourself of
and how do you literally get over your desire to not talk about acting?
Yeah. Okay. Right now?
Just be like,
let's talk about it.
I know talking about acting is more even more annoying than talking about improv.
Yeah. No, I'll talk about it.
How do you do that? How do you go okay, here's this, how do you literally, how do you do it? How do you track it? How do you know what you're doing?
Great. I actually really want to talk about this just because it's like, it was so different.
Yeah.
It was like, Mike had told me and some of the writers had sort of whispered, like, this is something we're thinking about doing this season, and being like really excited, but I should say more like maybe more flattered than excited, almost hoping it wouldn't happen. I'll take like the compliment, and then maybe you guys will think of something else because it does seem so daunting.
Yeah.
And also, like you said, sort of reinventing this thing where it's like, if I don't rise to it, it's a failure. It felt like, let's actually not do it. But thank you.
Or like maybe a scene.
Yeah,
not
totally. Not the whole thing. Yeah. So then when it did happen, I knew I was kind of like, I cannot have any regrets after this is done about not having given it 1 billion%. So one thing I did that was really helpful, because even just the idea of memorizing the whole script seemed impossible.
Yeah.
So we did a table read with all of the regular actors, all the cast, as who they would be if Janet wasn't playing them. And I recorded it on my phone. I voice recorded it.
Yeah.
And I listened to it like it was my favorite album. I listened to it nonstop in the car, in my ears. I just would talk with it. I would that's how I like memorized it, but also could kind of get their vibe. Not that they were even doing, like, it's not like they were, whatever. It just was, it was really helpful. That was really, really helpful. And a story I've told before, but I'll tell you, is that I was like driving down Sunset in LA, listening to it. And I saw my dear William Jackson Harper walking down the street, and I like pulled over and just rolled the window down, and his voice was playing. And he was like, you're going crazy. And then how did it, like, I knew these characters so well at this point, which is like lucky me, that it wasn't, not to say it wasn't hard. It was the hardest thing I've ever done.
You didn't have to like study. Did you even watch like tons of videos? Be like, oh, you just knew it.
Knew it. I'm almost like you would be able to do all your coworkers. Like you kind of just know it.
I can't, but an actor probably could.
You probably could in a way, whatever.
Maybe in a way.
Yeah. And so, we talked a lot about like, are we doing an impression? Are we doing a vibe? Like, we don't want it to seem too sketchy, but I wanted it, like, also coming from UCB, and like what I love about comedy is when it's grounded. So I really didn't want it to be too broad. God.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is like, because the thing that I was most impressed by rewatching it, like I watched it a couple times, is how you had to act how they listen.
Right.
So there's a scene, it's 4 of you listening
Right.
as them.
Totally.
And I think there is a desire to go much bigger
Right.
because you're like, oh, this is kind of a fun episode.
Yeah.
But there's also a desire to go so much smaller because most people listen neutrally.
Right.
So you had to figure out is it still fun, like how to make it fun
Right.
and how to be in it, but not be unaware of like what this sort of comedic game of
Right.
all of this is. Because otherwise it would be actually way too serious.
Yeah, totally.
It would feel like an exercise.
Yeah, exactly. And also like, right, like the balance of not going too far or too little. I mean, each of them, I don't know, like I think I maybe find a lot of character when I'm trying to figure out a character is in the body, okay? Like when I'm trying to figure out who somebody is. So again, already knowing these characters, it was sort of easy to like be in their posture. And that was like a good indicator of what it was. But it was like a wild week. 8 days I think we took to make that show. That episode. And it really was like, oh my God, it was insane. It like the technical, not the changing costumes, the like accents, the like eyeline. It was so technical. And there was like, there is in the beginning, Michael, aka Ted Danson, is in the scene with me telling what basically. It's too hard to ever even explain this episode. You've either seen it or you haven't. To explain it is like makes no sense.
Yeah, there's a void. You're all of them for a reason.
Right.
You're every actor on the show for
playing every actor, playing every character.
Yeah,
right. And Ted is basically telling me that, or telling us all of that, I guess I should say. And so he did have one scene with me in that white void, and we were like sitting on a bench in between whatever takes, and he was like. And I was like going over my script and like really stressing out. And he was kind of like, hey, he's like, you need to kind of like remember what this is. Like this is also a really important episode for the story and for these characters. So it's not about like looking at a piece of tape on a wall. Like, what are you saying? It was such good advice. It's so simple, but it carried me through the whole thing where it was like, what is this? Like, I have to like do these characters that I love justice and, further this is like some big moments for these characters.
Yeah. I mean, you have to kiss yourself it's like there was a photograph of what that looked like.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it must be such an odd day at work to then also be like, and I have to like be acting it.
Yes, totally. And also it's.
Because you like kiss a model, but then it becomes Kristen Bell and then and then they switch or whatever.
And it's also, am I wrong? I think it's Chidi and Eleanor's first kiss.
Or first kiss in this version of them?
Yes, good point. Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. It wasn't the like, so it is important. It's like I really, when I just can't believe I got to do that. It was like a dream come true / nightmare, but I'm like, but also once we started it was just like all hands on deck. The team was amazing. Everybody was like, we knew we were doing something like weird and it was exciting.
Yeah. I mean, now it's like 8 years ago. Like, what does it mean to you? Like, what does it mean to have that?
Kind of like a little, listen, I don't want it to be the only thing, but if it was the only thing, I would be like so proud of it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe I got to do that. And I've also like, other than the first whatever, other than watching it the first time I watched it, I've never watched it again. It was almost too special. I mean, I don't love watching myself anyway, but that's one that I'm like, I don't want anything to like mar my memory of it. Mar?
Yeah. I think
that's the third time I've asked you. What's going on with my brain?
And your assumption, I know a lot of words.
Do this.
Sure.
So you're like smart.
Well, I can, but I Google what does this word mean.
Yeah, you know what? On my Gmail, I like turned off everything AI. So that means they won't even autocorrect me anymore. They're punishing me. It won't even autocorrect a misspelled word.
I was wondering if you felt more sympathetic to these AIs because of playing Janet.
Great question. And yes. For sure. It's not the AI's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the dumb. But I mean, I always have, this is true. I always have felt like very attached to like a robot with a soul or like a Pinocchio. Like really, really felt for them since I was a kid. So there was a big part of me with Janet that really wanted to like, give her humanity.
I have I'm going to list names of you've worked with a lot of sort of quote unquote comedy legends.
And I'll do thumbs up or thumbs down.
Yeah, thumbs up if they're good or bad. If you have any new stories that you would love to share, that you're getting to tell. You've told a Ted story, so I guess we'll move on.
Okay,
Ted, but we'll see.
Love that.
Maya Rudolph.
I'm going to see her tonight. I mean, the thing about Maya.
You were also in Loop with her, and you got to really get to do.
I got to really do some stuff with Maya.
That's very exciting. To get to do 2 accents in one role.
Yeah, and a dance battle. I worship Maya. Maya's tricky for me because she is like, she's one of those people that when I saw her in the beginning of her career, I was really like, she's the one for me. This is what I want. I love you. I need to be you, whatever. She was like, everything she did made sense to me and blew my mind. And so when she was one of the few famous people that I was like, I don't want to meet this person, or like intimidated or starstruck or whatever. And when I heard that she was going to be on The Good Place, I was like, she was like who I would have chosen out of everybody, but also I didn't want it. But then when she came on the show, I think I gave her one day of like, hello, nice to meet you. And like, I can't sit by you. But then it was so easy. Like she's like a soul. So luckily all that has fallen away. I still worship her, but we call each other weird sisters. We like met weird. We like really, there was, that was like maybe one of my favorite moments of my life is we did something in like the trailer one day and she went, oh, you're my weird sister. And now we just sort of call each other weird sisters, which really makes sense. We have the same, there's like a language we speak and that is not English that really, only each other can understand.
Speaking of weird sisters, you played Will Forte's sister. Is your relationship to Will that where it's the part of Will that he's the nicest person on earth, or the part of Will that he does so many bits that it's like actually impossible to have a conversation with?
Oh, that's so funny. No, well, he's the nicest person on earth. Have you had him here?
I have, and I've interacted with him, and I've met nice celebrities.
Yeah.
And people who are gracious towards their fans. Will Forte is a completely different where a fan will be like, I have to go. It's like, no, you and
come
Will
with
be, no,
I'll come with you.
Yeah,
keep walking. He's so deeply good. He's also on another planet funny. He's so funny and so unique. But he's so good and wonderful and sweet and nice that sometimes you almost forget he's funny. And then he'll do something funny and you're like, oh yeah, you're like the funniest.
Yeah.
I love him. I love him so much. I love working. I think some of these people, I'm like, we're just going to work together forever in some way, shape, or form. We really.
Does he did any bits that sort of like, the Will Forte type of bit where you're like, this is actually beyond a normal.
Yeah.
Can you share it?
Well, I mean, okay. So wait, do you mean like where?
Well, the most like the examples of a Will Forte style is like
the spelling bee or something like that.
Oh, well, that's like his the public version.
Yeah.
The private version is like that he'd put his hand, like if you're in a urinal, he'll put his hand in front of your pee stream.
Yeah.
Which I can't imagine he did for you, but
he hasn't done that for me, but he would.
What is your version of that?
I mean, okay, so that's funny. I think my version of that is like a lot of singing, but I encourage it so it's not like annoying. I'm like more. He would like a lot of making up songs with either gibberish words or old songs that we know, but like sort of Weird Al songs.
Sure.
A lot of like dark jokes. He's really good at dark jokes, which is fun in like in juxtaposition to his nice heart. It's like really hits hard when it's a dark joke. I love it. He's one of God's weirdest. And I don't even believe in God.
You meet Will and go, I believe in God, and he's the weirdest person God ever invented. Julia Louis. I can't say Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
It's a really hard name.
The Julia to Louis is...
how dare. Julia Louis. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Yeah, why are you asking me about her?
You're on VEEP.
Oh, yeah. Did I mean, did I meet her on VEEP?
This was wondering.
I have had a couple of run-ins with her that have been A+. She rules. She's definitely like, she's as high up as she can be for me. There's there.
The hard part is I ask these and there's a light behind your eyes
Well,
that there's a story you can't tell.
There is.
If you can't tell it, I'm not going to, if you can't tell it.
But it is like I want to tell you off camera, but also,
can.
do I tell you?
Well, you can tell. I mean, it depends on how long it is, but you can tell it and we can cut it
That's
if you decide
true.
you don't want to.
Okay, there was, no, it's gross. It's gross on me.
Oh, then you should definitely tell it.
Okay, there was a while during, there was a while during COVID where the wonderful and great Megan Mullally was putting together these female actor Zooms. It was like once a month. It was mind-blowing. It was amazing the people she would put together, maybe like 6 to 8 women. And it was just like during the lonely times of COVID. God, this is such a bad story.
Well, we don't know yet. Is there going to be a twist at the end of the story?
And there was one Zoom where they usually last like 2 hours. It was really wonderful. Like some of my favorite COVID life memories. But there was one Zoom where it was Megan and Julia and Lisa Kudrow and me and moi. And we had been talking for a long time. And I had to pee really bad. And I knew that if I said I had to pee, it would be done. It would be sort of like it was like crazy how long we'd been talking. And it would remind them that we'd been talking too long. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, we should go. So what did Dar do? If a publicist was here, they'd be like,
No, this is like a very,
Okay.
this is like, actually, you can tell this on a couch.
Okay, great. And I might.
Yeah. This is like a good run.
Yeah.
See how it plays. And be like,
Okay.
actually, it's actually a sweet story.
Okay. So
because the part where you don't want it to end
Yeah,
places you sort of like, it's like Christmas Day energy.
Totally. Little kid. So I am, so like I'm sitting at my desk and I have a trash can next to my desk with the plastic in it. And I just sort of did this and I muted myself and I did this and then I moved the trash can and I peed in the trash can and I put it back and I put my seat back and I unmuted myself and I kept, and they never knew until this moment. Is that icky?
No, I think that's really good. It is almost so good. The ending of They Didn't Know to this moment is almost too good that I'm scared you're going to cut it because it is too good for Kimmel. But we can't cut it. Actually, everything you say is on the record, so it has to stay in. I think it's a very sweet story and you don't come off actually gross.
Okay, good. Even though pee-pee in your home, not in a toilet.
I think people will be like...
I understand.
They would get it because it is like little kids pee in little things.
Listen.
It's no different.
Okay, great.
I think it's a wonderful story.
Okay. Yeah, so that's how much I love her.
Over the last couple years, there's been a dramatic lilt to some of your work.
Yeah.
You've done more drama. Is there a reason? Like, what is the reason for that?
I think, I love drama. I think I had there, I deal with this sort of feeling of like, I should be so lucky. Like don't question, like whatever comes my way, I should be so lucky. But I also had a little fear after like, I guess after Good Place, and although Barry's so dark, but just after doing comedies, that was going to be it.
Yeah.
And so, and also again, to bring up Ted, when Good Place was ending, he gave me advice, which is like, whatever you do next, have it be like the exact opposite, which I have really tried to stick with as much as possible. So that's kind of it. I love, I in a way that is not helpful to my career, I want to do everything. And I don't mean that in like I want to take over the world. I just mean I want to, there's no like type of acting or story that I don't want to explore. So I just had the little fear of like, if people think of me as like sitcom gal, that it would be harder for them to accept me as like Handmaid's gal.
Yeah, I think there's two arguments. There's either I want to be open to everything. I don't want to lock myself out. And you could, if you just did comedy forever, you'll be like, they wouldn't think of you until out of nowhere. They're like, some director's like, what if
that comedy? Yeah.
Or the counter argument is like, you have a thing, you beat that drum louder, and they're like, how big can you push this one thing?
Right.
And it's hard because the reason why I ask why is like, it does feel like the push comedy as far as it goes path, there's no, that path does not exist like it used to.
Totally.
Like, you can't be like, oh, I'll do this, and
Right.
then I'll be the star of a movie where I play a thing like this. There just is
It doesn't
not
do that.
the same societal appetite for, like, we just want as much of this person as big as
In
possible.
different characters. Yeah, totally.
So it's more being like, oh, I want people to think I'm an option for things because
Yeah.
there's so little control in Hollywood right now.
Right. Totally. And also, yeah. And I also just, God, there's so little control in Hollywood. There always was, but it's even crazier. And I'm really feeling that. But I do, I guess I just don't, I really do want to be able to do anything without alienating the audience, I guess.
So you're in this show, 5-Star Weekend, with Jennifer Garner, Regina Hall, Chloë Sevigny, and Gemma Chan.
Yeah, Gemma Chan.
What do you feel like? It's a different tone.
Yeah, different tone.
What do you, when you're in this tone, how do you feel? Like, do you feel like this is actually like, I go to work and I'm as happy as I go to work when I go to these other things? Like, both creatively and personally.
I mean, like, okay, so I love, I'm like, do I laugh more on a comedy set? Maybe, but also no. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like just because, I mean, those women are all, I loved every day on that set. I loved being with them. Because as much as I love like hard comedy, I also just love actors and I love acting. And we got to act, you know what I mean? And that is so fulfilling to me. That like takes me right back to Southern Oregon University, where it's like, where I get to, this feeling of not being pigeonholed, to get to do things that I haven't gotten to do, to get to explore other like sides of myself or what I can.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I didn't know. It's like the first, like, is this the first time you played an insecure character?
It's funny that you say that. Like, maybe Natalie on Barry was this is almost like different.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, interesting.
There is like a shade of, they're like cousins or something, where it's like, insecure. But Brooke, who I'm playing on the 5-Star Weekend, is super insecure. Breaks my heart. I like love her. She's so sweet and trying so hard. And again, when I say like it maybe isn't helping my career to like, I should like find a lane.
Yeah.
And stick with it. But I'm like, I love playing somebody like Brooke, and then like the next thing I do being like a mob boss or something like that. Like, I really just want, that's what I need, is like the next thing to be something totally different.
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard to. I mean, it's like the business side of it's so hard to know. But again, it, like not to overly narrativize it, but it is essentially the thing that you realized before you got the Good Place, of like the creative life you were essentially, if you just like did the Good Place path and you're like, I'm a comedy person, I do a cameo, I do 2 episode arcs on everything, and I'm known as the funny person that does that. That actually is not honoring the decision you made before you got the Good Place.
Right.
Which is like, oh, I imagine my life is I get to play a lot of different things, and because it's community theater, I can do what I want to do.
Everything. Totally. Oh, yeah. I love that. I feel that. Yeah, there's like, there is, I mean, it's a weird business because it's like art mixed with business, mixed with money, mixed with like, there's too many things. And I think my little brain can only handle so much. So I really try to focus in on the acting part of it.
What is it like, considering we're talking about like being with Jennifer, Regina, and Chloe, who they're all they're all older than you. Not like, they're not like 10 older, but like they're like
a step older.
Yeah, they're a step older. They have navigated a time period in which Hollywood does not like to cast people, especially women, but like people in general. And like Regina, probably more than anyone, it's like the how her comedy is and how drama is like huge.
Yeah.
Were there conversations that you learned? What did you learn from any of them about like how you might want to think about your creative life?
I feel like, it was like the 5 of us together a lot, or it was a lot of days where all of us were together, sitting in chairs, talking. And I was just like, give me, how, but also not wanting to be like, give me advice or whatever, but just, taking in what they who they are, taking in what they were saying, I like respect the hell out of them. Those women are so professional, so loving and kind and wonderful and good friends, have done the impossible. Like they really, those women in particular, Jen,
Yeah.
Regina, Chloe, like Gemma's younger than me and amazing, like worship her. They're all amazing. But there's something about those three women that it's very unique what they have done. It's like one in a million. And I don't know. I can't believe I'm on a show with them. I can't believe I'm not in like one scene on that show. That I get to be in the whole show.
Yeah, you're like one of
the five.
Yeah.
One of the five. Yeah, it really I guess I've I don't know when I'll like kind of accept what, how do I say this? Like I still am very like, this sounds so faux humble, but like when I see The Good Place or whatever and I see a scene with Ted Danson, I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And then it's the same with this. I'm like, you're telling me these women that I've been watching since I've been like studying them and loving them, I now get to like act with them. It really, I don't take it for granted in a way that is almost, it makes me feel off balance. Like I kind of can't believe there is definitely a feeling of like, I got in a car crash and I died. And this is like, I'm dead. There was like something that happened maybe like 12 years ago and I died in a car crash. And this is just some sort of like weird dead dream. And I'm going to wake up and be
That'd
like,
be funny if that was the twist.
Yeah.
That Mike Shore was like, this is actually a prank on
Janet, like, yeah.
Let's go this route.
Do it.
However you would like to answer is, how much money do you have or make?
Wait, say the whole thing again.
However
Okay.
you'd like to answer this.
Okay.
How much money do you have or make?
Okay. I would say, as we are renovating our house right now, $0, unfortunately. We have $0. I've never been poorer. Yeah.
To that point, it's like Ted was like, don't play whatever as far as Janet. Were you, when I heard you have said that, he said that, and I was like, I wonder if Marvel was like, oh, we can have like D'Arcy play a funny AI
interesting.
to like the now existing female Iron Man or whatever. Are those opportunities that you think about? I always wonder if people are like, oh, I don't want to play the female in AI in Marvel. What if they want me to play Captain America down the road?
I will say that,
or any things that are like that.
Yeah,
that's what this question is.
Yeah, it's funny. Like in the Janet years or the immediate post Janet years, I did get, not Marvel, but I did get a lot of things coming my way that were robot.
I was literally one-to-one
assistant. I mean, you can't believe they're like. It is like being like, we need someone with brown hair. She has brown hair. It's like, we need someone that can play a robot. So those I was just like, for a while, we cannot. And I mean, I don't even think I said for a while. I was just like, we can't do this. We can't. No, we can't. Like, again, I should be so lucky, but
it
like,
is so funny to be like in 2 years, like, I'm finally my return to playing a robot.
Exactly. Like it's missed me.
Yeah.
But like as the further away I get from it, the more I'm like, if there was like, ex machina type of something that you can't like resist, something that's like brilliant, I would love,
That's so funny.
Yeah.
They should just do Ex Machina again, but with you.
Yeah, great. But I get to be the Oscar Isaac character.
You get to play both characters.
Great.
It's like Janet.
Oh yeah, I do the whole thing.
Whose career are you jealous of?
The first person that popped in my head was Adam Scott.
That is literally who I thought you were going to say.
Really? And I've told him that before. And he doesn't believe me. And he doesn't feel it. You know what I mean? But I love his career. Hahn, Adam Scott, Kathryn Hahn, Allison Janney. Boom, boom, boom.
What is about it?
I think it's this thing of being able to like do it all. It's like from comedy to drama to horror to kids movie to, it's like it feels very diverse and fulfilling, and those three in particular, they're so good. They're such good actors that really do believe them in every new role. It doesn't feel like they've pigeonholed themselves. Is pigeonholed like, do you ever say a word and you're like, where does that stem from? Did I just say something bad?
Oh, like specifically
you know what I mean?
pigeonhole?
Where you say a word like pigeonhole and you go like, but actually, what does that mean?
Yeah, I mean, that definitely, now that you bring it up, definitely seems like an example of that genre of a thing.
Yes.
And there definitely is a lot of those. I mean,
Yeah.
the example, I can't remember who, someone was recently brought up the "Why did the chicken cross the road" joke.
Okay.
And they were explaining it, how they understood it. And I was like, oh, I almost don't want to tell you that I do know the history of that joke.
Do you remember?
You've
already done it. Okay,
I already explained the history. I can tell you again. It's from minstrel shows.
And what did they think it meant?
Well, they were like, the other side.
I feel like
it's death.
I must have watched this because this is really familiar.
I actually do not remember who said this. And do you remember?
We have mashed potatoes for brains.
Yeah, it might have not. They were saying like, oh,
the other side is death.
Like, why did chicken cross the road? To get hit by a car.
Woo!
And I was like, I never even. And I'm thinking about that type of stuff all the time.
I bet you are. But the funny thing is I'm like, what do I think? Like that's probably number one joke, first joke you ever learn. And I'm sitting here in this moment going, I don't know if I've ever gotten it.
Yeah.
Like, I almost am like, my whole life I've been like, well, the joke doesn't make sense. Yes. And that's what's funny. Is that right?
So there's few arguments. One, there's this death thing that I haven't heard. I think the original basis of the joke is like, not to explain the mechanics of how minstrel shows work, but like essentially one person's character was to say nonsensical things. Okay. So that is somewhat based on that. I think really the reason it's many people's first jokes is little kids' understandings of jokes are like incomplete mathematical equations. Yeah. Right? So it's like, that is something that it is like the type of joke a kid would make up. Right. Where they're go, where they know the rhythm. Right. And they're just like, why did chicken cross? They stay it. To the other side. And they're like, that makes sense. Right. Like they understand that jokes make sense. They have a relationship. That's so funny. But they don't understand the joke should have some sort of like A to C twist, not just sort of like A to like Z twist. I'm sort of remembering in this very moment, like the first two jokes I ever heard in my life were, why did the chicken cross the road to get to the other side? And me going like, sure. But then the other joke was, what is the smallest room? A mushroom, which I loved. I loved that joke. That is a great joke. What is the smallest key? A monkey. Like, I was like, this makes sense. So, but a monkey is bigger than a key. Yeah. Wait, it wasn't the smallest key. What is the biggest key? But there's keys surely bigger than. Surely. What is the Key West is larger than a monkey. What is the smallest key? No, it couldn't have been smallest. But then you're like, how do you get to Mun? Yeah. Great question. Let's stop the show and look it up. We all pull out our phones. We just look at our phones for the rest of the time. I'm like, so Adam Scott and Allison Janney. No. I totally derailed us. All right. Which is fine. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, that's what we do here. Yeah, we do here. We did, and then we bring them back. So now it's time for the final segment of the show, which is called a lightning round. It's like a lightning round in so much as it's questions, but it's not in so much as you can take as much time as you need. Right. We already did jokes, so boom, joke done. Do you have a short story of an interaction with a legendary actor, living or dead, you're willing to share? Okay. Also, a comedian, living or dead, or some legendary person in the arts, living or dead. Just a short little. Little story. It goes to be long, but okay. I think this is sweet. Being on Barry with Henry Winkler really bonded Henry and I. And when our mutual friend Jason, aka my husband, goes out of town, Henry and his wife Stacy like me to come spend the night at their house. Is that real? Yes. So they've hosted me as like a sleepover guest because I get like scared in my house by myself. Which that's also, so yeah. If I knew that every time I had a meeting with Jason in New York, I'd be like, oh, D'Arcy's at the Winklers. So also, Will Forte and Henry Winkler are two of the best. And both of them similarly, like when they go dark, it like hits even harder because of their sweethearts. This is a side note about Jason, your husband. Our mutual friend. I knew this wasn't true, but I think somewhere I just decided he took your name. That's so funny. No, my last name is Erican, which is hard to pronounce.
almost impossible to like no one has ever in the history of our lives gotten it right. And that it honestly is when I think, okay, speaking of UCB stuff, when I think of reasons why I took Jason's name, it's like being introduced on stage at UCB by people that know me and mispronouncing my last name or kind of being nervous about saying it. And there's a part of me that's like, I should just have like accepted it and like stared him in the face and be like, get it right. But instead I was like, Carden, that sounds great with D'Arcy. Let's do it.
Who in your mind
Yeah.
is the greatest living comedic actor?
Okay.
Or just actor? Do you have a comedic actor?
Okay. It's sometimes you got to go with what pops in your head, and Jack Black popped into my head. Jack Black popped into my head.
What do you think it is?
I mean, I really do. Jack Black is one of those, you know, I think he's like insanely talented, deep talent, musically, funny blood. You know what I mean? And I think he has like sides of him that we don't even know.
Yeah.
He's one of those actors that I think if he decided to I think any which way he decided to turn in his career, I think it would be right. I think, you know, he's just he kind of like can do no wrong for me. I really think he's unbelievably.
I think that is true. I do feel like there is, like, if you rewatch High Fidelity, you're like, this guy could have had Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Totally. And I think he still could if he wants to. I really think it, which is so exciting when you know that somebody has like more. You've already seen so much and you're like, oh, there's even more there. Yeah. God, remember him in High Fidelity?
Yeah.
It was like lightning.
Yeah. Truly.
You're just like,
I remember seeing him in the trailer. I go, what is this guy?
What is this
I need
guy?
this more of this
What
guy.
is this guy?
What is this guy?
Yeah.
Let's try. You can pass on these.
Okay.
This one hasn't worked in a while, so we'll see.
Okay.
Do you have an opinion about something that people think is comedy or funny that you think that is not comedy?
I mean, yes, but it's like, well, for one, John Early has already like totally, you know, I was about to say destroyed this, but I mean like enlightened us or whatever.
Yes.
But it's just little phrases. It's
like little millennial speaky
things that are like funny and they're not funny. They're opposite of funny. Like, I don't want to, well, I just read a script that said like, that's not a thing, like 5 times. And it was a good script. I was like, what are we doing?
I literally just recently saw something where it was a good comedy, like scene was good, and then the ending was someone saying a thing like that. And you're like, you're
almost there. You're almost there. It's so close. Yeah. And it's like not fair, you know, to like do this. It's, you know, I think it's like in the beginning of my UC. So this is like right out of college. I remember people were starting to say, I just threw up in my mouth a little bit and being like, we can't say that anymore. And I'm like, people still say that. Like there are things like that where it's just like, oh my God, you can't say that. And I'm very collaborative and don't want to tell someone like, I definitely would have a hard time in a writer's room because I would have a hard time being like, that's not funny. But I have had to say to the director or whatever, I can't say this. Like, we got to figure out something else. Because I like literally, unless the character is like lame as hell and that's what we're saying, I cannot say this.
Michael Scott saying that's what she said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You can't be a character who like, I don't even know how you do phrase it. A person who they are not, the joke is not that they're unfunny.
Right.
That you can't be selling a thing that's like.
Right. And
I didn't have that on my bingo card.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to make like, that's actually a great way to make a character like that.
Yes.
But it has to be that. Otherwise, it can't be that the writer thought that was like a cute, funny, quirky little thing to say. So yeah, there's so many little phrases that I.
That's good.
Is that
That's perfect.
Okay.
No one's said that one, and I want that out there.
Yeah.
Last one. What's the best time you ever bombed?
Well, the best time I ever bombed was like the most helpful time I ever bombed, which was like I was a student at UCB. There was a show called, I want to say it was called School Night. It might not have been called that, but it was basically like the students get to play with the teachers, and the teachers are idols.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at UCB, like the teachers are the people that perform on stage and you're obsessed with them and you know everything about them and they're like your stars. And so I was maybe it was called lottery, whatever the hell. I was in class and I got chosen to be one of the students. And so I was on stage with the teachers and a couple other students. I was the only female, again, not to be about gender, but I was like trying to hang with
Just
the boys.
setting the scenes.
Yeah. And I also was confident. Like I was like, this is gonna be the moment where I like prove myself.
Where they're like, no, you should teach us.
Yeah, it wasn't like that, but I was like, this is what they're gonna say, like, oh, she could be with us.
Got it.
And I was on stage with like the great Joe Wangert and the great Anthony Antamanik. And I just like I took a little too long, like I'm doing right now. I took a little too long, so they got nervous, and then they started talking. You know, this kid doesn't know what she's doing, so they're like, "Well, we have to fill the scene or whatever." So we did a scene where I was sort of like just on my rhythm was just slow enough that I was sort of like forgotten, and so in the next scene, I was like, "Here we go," and I remember saying something about like, I think we were soldiers, and I said something about like, if I may. Something about like face fucking this skull or something like that. Feel free to bleep. And it didn't, it was too like, it's not that it was, I mean, it was too blue, but it was also too like, I'm about to say something crazy. And the audience didn't laugh and it felt horrible. And I think, you know, like then the guys on stage have to sort of like help me, whatever. It felt horrible, like red face, horrible. And I cried myself to sleep that night. Jason really remembers that. It has brought this up a lot of times that I cried myself to sleep that night. And it was a good lesson.
Yeah.
It was like a good lesson in like, kind of like trusting your gut and not pushing it and not trying to be someone that you're not. Not that I can't say face fuck. I can say face fuck, but it has to like be right, you know? So that was a good bomb.
Thank you so much.
A good helpful bomb. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
We did it.
We did.